Okay, you guys, I'm so excited that you guys are all here. Hello to everyone on the recording as well. Um, I want to first make sure everybody's just muted so we have a clear recording for everybody. If you have a question come up at any point, please put it in the chat. Does everybody know how to use the chat? Yeah, we know how to use the chat. Okay. Yeah, put it in the chat. If you're on the replay and you have a question, reach out to me directly. I would love to answer questions. I love questions. So please make it as interactive as possible. How's my sound? It's okay? Can you hear me okay? Okay. I don't have my microphones and I'm kind of like in a little bit of a weird, it kind of is echoey. So anyway, let's jump in. This is not your average masterclass. Okay, like the word masterclass sometimes has a little bit of energy behind it for some people. This is not your average masterclass, and it is different than my previous masterclasses in some ways. Okay, so for those of you that have been around a little bit and have been coming to previous masterclasses, maybe you've taken courses or a course within Rise Academy, this is a little bit different. Okay, so as we go through today, especially those of you that are new here, I want you to stay open to something different potentially. Okay, so this could be something pretty different than you have previously heard or experienced. And I'm not asking you to accept everything as truth, okay? But I am asking you to just stay open, just stay like, what if? Okay, explore the possibilities, be open to seeing something different, okay? So there's a couple, Lisa's new here on live. I'm excited to see you. But I'm sure there's a bunch of you that are new around here watching the recording as well. So I'm going to share a little bit about my story, and within that story, teach and share about awareness today. Okay, so let's first go over a little itinerary of what we're going to expect for the next 3 days together. It's my intention today, especially, but over the next 3 days, my intention is to loosen your model. Okay, what does that mean? Loosen your model. So we've been kind of programmed and what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, we've been programmed into thinking a certain way, thinking, acting, feeling, whatever, a certain way. Okay, so my intention is to loosen this idea that you have and share some of my own personal experiences to hopefully, especially today, remind you of this potential that's within you as well. Okay, so everything starts and ends with awareness. If we aren't aware of where we believe we currently are, we won't be able to change anything. And a lot of people start with manifestation without this awareness. Okay, awareness is the number one. If we aren't aware of our current thought patterns, we won't be able to change them, right? So today we're going to get big into that, all about awareness, really unpacking our own thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and tying it together through the next 3 days together. Okay, so later today, we're going to be talking about spirit. We're going to be talking about oneness and something that's bigger than us. Okay, something that is always working and supporting us, even if we're not aware of it. Okay, so you don't have to be like, religious to any degree. And if you are, then that's great. If you have follow a faith, awesome. Continue doing what you're doing, right? But I'm going to introduce us to a concept that everything is happening for us exactly as it's meant to. Okay, and then tomorrow, we're going to connect into the intellect, okay? The intellectual mind specifically. We're going to talk more about the how, the logistics, masculine, feminine. This is also a very exciting day because it is more visual. I'm going to draw a couple pictures for you guys and kind of connect some things together. And I'm also going to guide you through an EFT tapping session to help us to move some of the energy, okay? So then on Saturday, Day 3 is our VIP day. It's my favorite day. We'll bring it all in together and move it into the body, the physical body. Okay, so Saturday is all about embodiment, integration. I'm going to lead the group through a powerful visualization. And then before we close out, I'm going to take a few minutes to talk about our newest course in Rise Academy that's open, which I'm really, really excited about. So let's get into it. Okay, so the 4-step manifestation process we've been talking about all week, basically on my social media, is that we're going to cover this, like I said, through these 3 days together. And that is awareness, spirit, intellect, and body. Okay, everything starts with awareness. And if you've been around for a little while, you know that everything is awareness, right, Larissa? Like everything is awareness, okay? No matter where we are in our personal growth, our own development, our own manifestations, our own whatever, it all comes down to awareness. And our awareness continues to always expand. The moment it stops expanding is the moment we stop growing. Okay, so there's always more available to us. There's always more to become aware of. A lot of people don't understand this concept. So we need to first today discover where we believe we are currently. Okay, a little bit about my story and how it relates to this material and why I'm here teaching it. Most of you know I live in Costa Rica. I've been here for about 4 years. Lisa actually came with me. She was my nanny when we first came. When Macaulay and Sequoia were 2 and 4 years old, okay? It was a beautiful, beautiful transition into exploring something completely foreign. Prior to coming to Costa Rica, many of you know this story already, but I know that a lot of you don't. I was a single mom. Okay, prior to that, I was an avid traveler, backpacker, constantly exploring, but searching for something outside of me. Okay. My dream has always been to show my babies the world, right? So the thing is, though, is that I had a lot of stuff. Okay, and a lot of us do. I was raised by a single mom. And as a result, as many of us do, I recreated my childhood. Okay. So, oh, somebody's trying to get in here. One moment. So I recreated my childhood, and I want you to think of, this is one of the questions in the homework for today, the integration homework, is how am I in a cycle, right? So give me one moment here. I'm just going to send the link over. Okay. There we go. Okay, so how am I in a cycle, right? I was not aware that I was in a cycle. Okay, and maybe some of you here, it's your first time maybe even pondering this, but I can probably, pretty much guarantee you have some similarities to how you were raised as how you are living now. Okay, maybe you've already been like aware of this for a little while and you've been working on yourself and breaking out of that cycle, but there is still some, it tends to be like some habits, some autopilot, things that we do throughout our day that are related to a past version of us. What does that do? It continues to create the same. Okay, so this is something, a big one. The first one too, I married my dad, Kelty. There we go. Okay, so bam, that's a big one. It's all about awareness. That is beautiful awareness. Okay, so as many of us do, we continue to live in that cycle, but we don't become aware of it. So hopefully now we're a little bit more aware of it. So what happened after that is I became aware of this generational cycle that I had found myself in. Okay. Hey, good morning. Good morning. Just gonna mute you there, Lynette. Welcome in. Okay, so good to see you. Yay. Okay. So I became aware of this cycle and I decided to change it, right? I decided to change it. And that's the simple, beautiful thing about it. I'm not telling you, Kelty, like to change your situation. Okay. We're going to get into more of this. We're going to get into, over the next 3 days, we're going to talk about how we can shift our perspective and our assumptions, watch our assumptions. Okay. Anyway, I chose to start a business from home because I financially was fully reliant upon the government, living in government housing. So I started a business from home when my babies were super tiny, when, I felt as though no one else believed in me. What the reality of that was that I didn't believe in me. Okay. Interesting. I didn't believe in me. Therefore, it was being reflected back to me through my outside world. So I started a business, and I ended up scaling to one of the highest levels in the company while I was working during nap times and after bedtimes. Okay, so what happened there is I began to shift my awareness. I began to open up to the possibility of something being different in my world. Okay, so this company at that time was the vehicle for me to be able to shift my awareness. I'm not saying that it's that vehicle only. There are unlimited vehicles to shift your awareness. Okay. So for me, it blew my awareness wide open, and then it encouraged me and kind of like allowed me to dream in a way I've never done before. Okay. So instead of existing in my 3D physical world, I began to dream, and I began to exist outside of the personal, what's the word I'm looking for? The identity that I thought I had to have. Okay. And that was single mom, no money, living government housing, no, father of the children involved, like all of the stuff. Okay. So I could have continued to exist in that identity, but I didn't. It just happened to shift through this business that I had. Okay. So I became aware of something bigger than me. Okay. So the thing is that our spirit is always for expansion and fuller expression. Okay. As human beings, we have this unique ability to create, to expand, this desire to grow. And we've been taught, tell me if this resonates with you, we've been taught to be small. We've been taught to be happy with what we have. How many people have, right? How many people have been told that? Like, be happy with what you have. What? That's crazy. To me, that's nuts. Okay. So that has completely, it's not any piece of this anymore. Right. But I was that before. I even had somebody tell me, a close family member actually, like, who are you to believe you should have a house like this, and have your kids go to blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just other people's perceptions are mirroring our own, though. A lot of that is. So isn't it interesting how it's like, yeah, people, the outside world is telling me, who are you to, but really it's like, I'm asking myself, who am I to want that? So that's awareness. Okay. So anyway, when we are not creating as human beings, we're disintegrating. We're here to create. And that's a beautiful experience about being a human being. Okay. We can think, we have an intellect, we can dream. And so most of us have experienced something in our lives that has impacted that ability to create, to dream, and to even think. Okay. Tell me if this resonates as well. Like, are you someone, when I ask you, like, if all things are possible, what are your dreams? Tell me, like, what do you desire? You're like, I don't know. I don't know what I want. Okay. That is, in my opinion, a result of that, what I just said. Like, something happened along the way where something influential to you told you to stop dreaming, told you that you're not good enough. Right. And then you probably in an early age began to embody that belief. And maybe that belief is still here today. Okay. So this is a big deal. So back when I lived in the cold mountains of BC, where you guys just got snow, I'm so grateful to be here. Although I do want to experience the snow again pretty soon here for a little trip, just a little vacation. When I was living there, though, I always dreaded the long winters. I love parts of snow, but the longness and like the shoulder seasons, it was not my thing. So I had a dream of getting out of the winters, somewhere warm and tropical. Okay, so keep in mind, my current situation at that time was one of, like, from the outside world, looking at my situation, was one of pretty much, lack and limitation. Just gonna say that, right? So I could have, and there was a part of me that believed it to be true, that believed that situation was, not as good as it gets, but it was like, it was my life. Okay. But then I had this thing that I told you about before, excuse me, this opportunity to expand past my current level awareness. I had something planted inside of my subconscious that started to grow, this belief that there's something more, this desire, like, and maybe even this masterclass is that for you. It's this, my hope for you is, again, it shakes up your model a little bit. It makes you question your beliefs. It makes you question your even habits, right? So this is where most people stay, though, is they stay in their 3D physical world. They allow themselves to get stuck in this cycle, in this repetition of how, in the logistics, in the details, and figuring it out. Let me know in the chat if you're somebody who needs to know how before you can do something, or you like to figure everything out and know all the details before you even start something. Let me know if that's you. It's really, really common, and most people get a little bit stuck there. Okay. So until at this point, my business was growing, things were doing okay. I was starting to dream. I was starting to, like, ooh, what if, play with the possibilities. And then one day in January 2019, I actually crashed my mom's truck, rode off the truck on my way to pick up my son from forest school. Okay. That was the moment that everything changed for me, because in that moment, I made a decision. Okay. I made a decision. What happened there? The bridge of incidents started to unfold. So here we are moving from awareness into spirit. Something bigger than me happened, right? So sometimes when we have a desire, or we have there's a saying that's coming up for me. It's by Neville Goddard. I think he says, you must die to your present self in order to fully, something along the lines of, like, in order to fully step into that new version of you, there's sort of this, like, little bit of a death that happens. Okay. Not a physical death, but it is an emotional, kind of a spiritual shedding of something. Okay. So from that point, I shifted my own energetic and my own kind of, like, beliefs. Okay. I don't even want to say paradigm anymore, because I feel like we've been using paradigm as something negative and something outside of us. But what it is, it's just my own thoughts, my own ideas, my own beliefs. Okay. And from where I was living from and existing in. Okay. So crashed the truck. In that moment, I changed. I made a decision, and the bridge of incidents started to unfold. Okay. What that means, the bridge of incidents means that the next step comes. Okay. Once we make a decision, everything changes. Everything changes because we begin to act differently. We begin to show up differently. We begin to move differently. It's like, I've said this before, but if you had booked a plane ticket to Costa Rica, you're going to act as if you're going to Costa Rica, right? And what are you going to do? You're going to start packing. You're going to start, like, coordinating your trip a little bit, like getting ready to go. This is kind of what happens when we make a decision. Everything starts to happen according to that decision, as long as we continue to hold the decision. You know what I mean? No, like, flopping from side to side. That's where, the law of attraction, that's where kind of, like, this spiritual side of us I don't want to say doesn't deliver, but that's where manifestation does not happen. Okay. So there's a bridge of incidents from when one makes a decision to the realization or observation of said decision in the 3D physical world, okay, aka the manifestation of that desire. What happens in between is that bridge of incidents. Okay, so what must happen in between as well is that faith that the desire is on its way to you. Okay, we're going to go into this a little bit more over the next 3 days together, because I know, especially for those of you that are brand new to this, you're like, wow, it's a little deep right off the bat. Okay. So anyway, September 2019, we landed in Costa Rica. I didn't know how it was going to work. Anyone that I would have told that was looking at my current situation would have said, you're nuts. Okay. And that's okay. That's totally okay. It's okay to not tell people what you're up to. Give you permission to not tell people. Okay. So what happened after that? A few days later, I met my dream guy. Crazy, right? That was not my intention. Lisa was even there, right? I met him. At that time, I didn't know that he was that guy. Okay, the past version of me, the one who was a single mom, living in government housing, all the things, if I would have continued to exist in that level of awareness and that reality, I'd still be there. But I chose to see things differently. Okay. So I had this burning desire to change my situation. So that's also something I'm going to get you to cultivate on the homework, the integration homework today. You need to have this burning desire for your life, your situation, your experience to be different. The how doesn't matter, but the how is not up to us. So we now know it happens by law. Okay, again, going through this over the next 3 days. I had attracted my now partner because I was in vibrational alignment with him and the experience of having a healthy, wholesome, reciprocal relationship, right? If I would have been existing in lack and limitation and searching for him, what would have happened? What energy does that give off? It repels. Okay, so I know, interpret this how you must, relate this to your own experience, but there needs to be an inner knowing that we don't need whatever it is. Okay, we don't need this manifestation to materialize. We don't need this other person or this, XYZ, but we would love it. It's a preference, not a requirement. It's a preference, not a requirement. Okay, it's the energy of like, I don't need you, but I would love to share my life with you. Okay, so you feel that release, right? So before I left Canada, I had been studying EFT, working a lot on my own beliefs and around self-worth, self-image, and success. And so I did an exercise, and the exercise told me to write down all of my traits, like all of the traits I desire in my person, in my life partner. Okay. And so initially, my instinct, and this is what most people do, tell me if this is you, is, oh, I don't want to be like too picky. I can't be too picky, or I don't want to be too greedy, because that's that program that, oh, just take what you need and nothing more. Right. So when I was writing out this, like, it was just a fun, like, playful exercise, right? Like every little thing that I would love to see in a life partner. There was that underlying, like, oh, I don't want to be, I don't want to, like, does that even exist? So again, translate this into whatever, like, example relates to you. But I want you to see that there is not a limit to what we can create. Okay. So, lack and limitation are man-made. They're man-made. Our true nature is limitless abundance. And once we can tap into that and become aware of it, like everything we desire, everything we can, desire, everything that is our own potential is already within us. It's already within us. Okay. So it's not trying to search outside of us to find it. It's actually becoming aware of what's inside of us already. It's becoming aware of something new. Okay, so this is a different concept than most people are used to, right? So anyway, I wrote out the traits of my dream person. I read it over once, and I honestly, there was a piece of me that was like kind of playful with the universe, like, I want to see this in real life. I don't know. I don't know if I believe it's out there right now, but I'm going to play with you. And like, if, I'm like, universe, deliver. I'm open and ready to receive when it's the time. And so I affirmed it done, threw it away, and that was it. Okay, so there was a piece of me that was kind of like staying playful. And so when you're working with your desire, your manifestation, even, manifestation is so much more than that, which we're going to get into in a little bit here. But I want you to feel that kind of playful energy of like playing with something that is bigger than you. Okay, so I knew that I wasn't going to settle for anything less, but I was open to playing with it. Okay, so I released control and I let it go. Was it my intention to find somebody in Costa Rica? No, not at all. Not once, actually. Like, it was not. I was very much on I'm enjoying my experience. I'm enjoying my life. But that's how the law of attraction works. Okay, it's always working. Law of attraction is always working. So how is law of attraction always working? It's working through our own vibration. Okay, what is vibration? We live in a vibrational universe. We know that everything is vibrating, everything, and like attracts like. Okay, so what determines our own vibration is our own thoughts, our feelings, and our beliefs. Thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. This is why it is very important to become aware of our current thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. That's what today is all about. Becoming aware of them so that we can then choose and shift them. We're going to break this down more tomorrow when we move into the intellectual mind. Okay, so most people believe that manifestation is only the act of desiring something new. And most people tend to long for the thing. It's like they see the experience or the material object, the monetary something or another, as if it is outside of themselves, right? It's like separate from them. This is very, very common. Manifestation is a transformation of consciousness. It's an expansion of awareness. Manifestation is becoming aware of something that's already there. Okay, interesting. But if we choose to stay in our current level of awareness, what's going to happen? If we continue to create from where we are now, what's going to happen? We're going to continue to create more of the same, because we're creating from that frequency, from that vibration, from that awareness. But on the other hand, if we decide to allow ourselves the opportunity to dream bigger, and we drop the how, we actually make a decision and we shift our entire future experience. Okay, but first, we must become aware of our current situation. Okay, so what I hope happens on this masterclass is, like I said, it's an awakening of your potential, awakening of your limitless potential. Okay, so the understanding that you are an incredible creator and your true nature is joy, abundance, and prosperity. So sometimes that might be hard to hear if your current situation is not reflecting that right now, and that's okay. Okay, it is our job. Like I said, we're going to go all into this tomorrow, and I'm going to draw some pretty pictures for you so that you can see this and kind of connect the dots. We need to detach from our current results, because if we continue to allow ourselves to believe our current results, our current money situation, our current relationships, our current self-image and what's the word I'm looking for? Just like our own self-worth, what are we going to do? We're going to continue to recreate that. Oh, it's so good to see you, Kelty. I love to see your guys' little faces. Okay, so part of the homework today is to help you to take a good look at these beliefs, right? Really, really important. Okay. So if, however, we have the awareness that something else is possible for us, and we continue to do things the same way, we're going against the laws. We're going against manifestation, and we'll stay in bondage. Okay, we'll stay recreating that cycle. So if we have the awareness that we can change our situation, we can, okay, and how do we change our situation? Through our thoughts, our beliefs, or our thoughts, our feelings, and our beliefs, and then our actions. Okay, so let's think of this for a second. If we make decisions, or if we take action from where we are today, from our current level of awareness, what results are we going to produce? We're going to produce the same results. Similar, maybe a little tiny bit more, okay? What we want to do, and what I'm going to help you to do over these 3 days together, is connect the dots and move into the place where your desire, or your desired life experience, whatever, is already manifested. It's already here. And so we're building the awareness to become aware of that. It's already here. And then what action do we take? And then how do we feel? And then how do we think? Okay, and then what experiences come our way? What experiences come to us? Opportunities come to us, people come to us. It's completely different. It's almost completely backwards. Interesting, right? So it's all up to us, and it's a choice. We can choose to take this new awareness, and we can choose to watch our thoughts, change our beliefs, and move forward. Or we can choose to kind of have this awareness, but still continue to do the same things. I was on a call yesterday, and we meet once a week. We're studying the book, The Power of Awareness. And Larissa, I missed you on the call. We were talking about habits. And so if we have this awareness, yet we still continue to go throughout our day in kind of this like autopilot, what will we do? We'll continue to recreate the same, right? Instead of, hey, I have this awareness, and I am, instead of going throughout our day and just doing things, we do things the same way we've been doing things for years, right? Lots of us. Okay, and so what happens if we kind of just shift it a little bit and begin, instead of doing things that way, we do things a certain way in a different energy. We even kind of like make changes in our day-to-day to shift how we feel in the situation. It could be something, even I gave the example of like putting your dishes somewhere more convenient, because every time you bend down, you're looking through the dark cupboard and it's like, I can't ever find anything. Little changes like that, that sounds kind of silly, but something like that can shift the energy, because then it doesn't throw you off. Why am I continuing to allow myself to, struggle every time I try to go find something in this cupboard? Why don't I just change it? It's like little things like that. Okay, it can be anything. It can be something little like that, but it can be also something really big. So this isn't everything we do. Manifestation is not just hoping, wishing, visualizing, and dreaming about the possibilities. It's actually in everything we do. Okay, so once we become aware of our thoughts and our feelings and how it impacts our actions, and then we begin to change our beliefs, everything shifts. And so we can be practicing this in everything we do. So how do we change a belief? If we believe something, I was on a call the other day, and somebody was talking about, they were like, oh, my dad believes this, and they kind of put it on the dad. And then the realization was that, oh my gosh, I believe that because I believe that my dad is causing this kind of like tension in my belief. Does that make sense? It's kind of like we have weird ways of being like, oh, it's him, No, it's actually you who believes that. Okay, just an interesting way of shifting your perspective and your awareness, right? Welcome in. Hi. Okay, so how do we change a belief? We change a belief by I mean, I used to say through constant spaced repetition or through emotional response. Okay, according to Bob Proctor, that is how we change a belief. But I do believe now that if we have the ability to become aware of said belief, we have the ability to change it. And it doesn't need to take a long time. It's a choice, okay? And it helps when there's an emotional impact for sure. So for example, somebody eats meat their whole life and then watches a movie on the mistreatment of animals. They, in that moment, become a vegetarian. Do you know what I mean? It's like making a choice and changing that belief in an instant because there's a emotional impact. There's emotional response to that said situation. Okay. So I want you to kind of think of this for a second and ponder this, I guess, this belief, right? This opportunity. Are we able to shift beliefs in an instant? Do we believe that? Could we accept that as truth? Or do we believe it takes a long time? So there's some things that are pretty, sometimes deep-rooted, whatever, but the belief that we are blocked or the belief that we are stuck is the belief that is holding us in bondage. That belief, right? The belief that we're stuck is causing us to be stuck. What if we can shift from that and start to believe something different? And instead of saying, things like, I'm struggling with XYZ, it's, I am now becoming aware that I have been struggling with XYZ, and I'm choosing to see this differently now. Doesn't that feel good? Feels more expansive, and it changes the awareness. Okay, so I want you guys as well to watch your words. Watch how you speak to yourself. Okay, this is all building awareness. Every thought that goes through your head through the day, every thought, I want you to ask, is this a thought that is serving me? Or is this a thought that comes from a past version of me? Because this is how we're going to start to shift our own experience. Okay. So the current reality we exist in is made up of our past thoughts, our beliefs, and our actions. We are living in a vibrational universe, right? That is always, it can be always expanding. It's always changing. It's always moving, right? But we continue to live in these cycles by thinking the same thoughts, by doing the same things, and feeling the same way. Okay, so anytime that we recognize, hey, that's a thought that's not serving me, I want you guys to replace it right away with a thought that is serving you. Okay, sorry if I froze there. Okay, replace it right away. I also heard, I love this, I adopted this the other day. Anytime you have this limiting thought or belief come up, why don't we just replace it right away with something like, the truth is. Okay, so we notice in our heads are like, let me think of an example. Oh my gosh, she, thought something specific of me, and it didn't make me feel good. We're just creating this story in our head. Okay, what we can do is, the truth is, she sees me in this way. Okay, just a random example, and I don't know if that kind of connects at all, but do you know what I mean? We're kind of switching it right away. Okay, so what if I told you that everything you desire, I already kind of said this today, but everything you desire is already within you, everything you desire. Okay, you just need to become aware of the version of you who has that experience now. So most people, like I mentioned before as well, like most people allow their current results to own them. Think about how that resonates with you, right? Are you going through your day and moving in a certain way, or making certain decisions as a result of your 3D experience? So in regards to, it can be in regards to anything, right? We talked about this already. It continues to create the same. Okay. So we know now how to change this cycle. We choose different thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and actions. Okay. But we first must become aware. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to introduce you to a concept that is called living from the inside out. So most of you, if you've been around for a little while, you've probably heard this a few times. But if you're brand new around here, this is really exciting. And it's something that changed my whole experience. And everybody I talked to or introduced to it's just like kind of mind blowing because it's completely backwards as to how we've been taught, right? How we've been taught to experience our world. So we're going to talk all about that tomorrow. What I'm going to say, though, is that most people live from the outside in, allowing their current experience to impact their thoughts and feelings and actions all the time. But what if we could, after today's lesson, we could move in a different way because we now have this awareness that we get to choose, right? We get to choose and that we are limitless. Okay, so I want you to do the integration homework as soon as you can, right after this. I'm actually going to send it in the chat right now. And for the replays, it's in the email. So I will send out the replay in a second here, but let me hold one moment. I'm going to just grab it because I'll put it in the chat so you guys that are on live can jump into it right after. I'm a huge, huge fan of journaling. Okay, if you're new around here, this is a big, big important piece of this material, of this work, because we need to, this is how I integrate. It's almost like a conversation with myself. Okay. It is a way, hold on, I found the document, share. So journaling these questions, anyone with the link can view, copy, okay. Journaling through these questions is going to be very powerful, a very powerful way to expand your awareness even more and to begin to shift these beliefs, right? Sometimes we're not even aware. We're not even aware that we're living this way until we kind of unpack it and write it out. So you're not going to have to show anyone your journal, like these questions, the answers. I don't want to see them, okay? It's for you. And so I want you to really go deep with them. Go deep, open them up, open up yourself and allow yourself to just shift, drop it out, let it go, and explore the opportunity of something being different in your life. Okay, so when we're in this energy together here, we're a little bit different. Our vibration is different and we can feel it, right? So we have these different ideas coming to us. We move differently, we think differently, and we attract differently. That's why I really, really suggest that the homework gets done directly after, okay? We have about 10 minutes left, and I would love to open it up for you guys to ask a question. Does anybody have something? Oh, I froze. Sorry, I froze you guys. Costa Rica life. Does anyone have a question? We have about 10 minutes left, and I would love to hear from you. It could be anything, any piece of what we kind of talked about today. It could be, something to do with awareness, something to do with living in spirit. I'd love to, you're welcome to unmute, or if you want to drop it in the chat, you're welcome to as well. So as you guys, if anyone's writing a question, I'm going to continue to talk for a second on spirit here. So we covered quite a bit of awareness today, and spirit I kind of touched on a little bit, and I feel like we're going to bring it into a little bit of tomorrow as well. But living and existing in spirit is something that I truly believe is part of my own daily experience, right? It's in every moment. And I want you guys to take a second to feel it for yourself. Okay. So when you are in the energy of trying to figure something out, okay, how does that feel? It feels, you're figuring something out and you're working hard, and it's to me, it feels restricting. It feels kind of hard. It feels like a lot of work, when we're figuring something out, to me, it feels very mechanical, very human, Okay, and this is what our human wants to do. Our human, again, yeah, it's frustrating. We're going to talk about this tomorrow, but our human wants to know everything. It wants to figure it all out. Our human is also our ego. Okay, our ego mind, like kind of use the words interchangeably, but our ego only knows, our human only knows what it's learned. Our human only knows what it's learned. Okay, it has therefore restrictions. It has limits to what it knows. Interesting, right? That most people, if not 99.9% of people, exist solo Spanish only in our human. Okay, so what if there's this part of us that we can become aware of that is a more kind of like a spiritual side of us, and the spirit within us, what's his Robert Russell calls it the formless substance, the formless substance within us that is connecting all of us together. You know, again, if you have if you follow a faith, or if certain words resonate or don't resonate with you, it's totally up to you. Okay, it connects us all together, and it is us, and at the same time, yeah, it's all of us. Okay, so if we can open up to this idea that we are spirit, we are creators within us, and we have this limitless potential within us to exist in an effortless way. I'm going to get to the question there in a second there, Kelty, for your comment. Okay, we have an opportunity to exist in a way that doesn't feel frustrating. It doesn't feel overwhelming. It doesn't feel limitless. It doesn't actually have limits. Excuse me. The spirit inside of us has no limits. So how does that feel? How does it feel when we're living in spirit? Okay. So going from human experience into this limitless creative spiritual essence, what happens here is we begin to release the control we think we have. You know, our spirit knows no limits. Okay, and our spirit knows all. Interesting, right? So our human has limitations. Our spirit is all knowing. This is kind of a little bit of a deeper concept as well, but our spirit is all knowing. So then when we can tap into this spiritual essence that is us and part of us, this formless substance, we can then release this idea that we need to figure it out. Okay, living in spirit is connecting into, some people call it our intuition. Our intuition, and a lot of us, again, we talked about this for a second here on the masterclass today, where we've been taught to stop dreaming. We've been taught to be, thankful for what we have. We've been taught to be happy with what we've got, whatever it is. We've been taught to stop living in spirit. We've been taught to stop living and trusting our intuition. Interesting, right? So living in spirit is more of a feminine approach. Okay, living in our human, everybody has a piece of masculine and feminine inside of them. It's who we are, right? But some of us, I'm going to say most of us, because of our society and how it is very masculine driven, are very masculine in our approach to everything. When we have a manifestation or a goal or something we desire, we're like, let's get to work. Let's work hard. We got to do it. We got to figure it out. And this is where I used to exist. And I think a lot of us do still. And there's pieces of me that I recognize throughout the day. Remember, we're building awareness. We now have the awareness to catch ourselves and say, oh, that is an old version of me. I'm catching myself right there, and I'm changing it. I'm shifting it right away and saying something different. Okay. So we can then choose to exist in an in-spirit and effortless way. Okay, that is the feminine. How is it an effortless way? Like, that doesn't mean, some people can interpret that to say like, oh, we're just going to do nothing. Do nothing, sit around, wish and dream and hope and visualize and all the things, and it's going to happen. And that is not what I'm talking about here. Okay, we still need the masculine. We need the masculine. But what if we can exist in a way that doesn't stress us out, isn't overwhelming, isn't frustrating? Okay, and that is through living in spirit, and it's following our intuition and taking action from the end, which we're going to basically unpack all of that tomorrow. Taking action from the end, not thinking of the end. And the end is something I don't really like to say, honestly, because there's always room for expansion. There's always more to become aware of. Okay, Kelty, I want to have millions of dollars and I don't want to work hard for it. Who does? I mean, who does not resonate with that? I feel like that everybody here does resonate with that. Okay, everybody wants that. And she said, I believe I can turn thin air into money and my family thinks I'm crazy. Yeah, I think all of us can resonate with that fully. Okay, so I feel like that really, really is in complete alignment with what we were just talking about living in spirit. Okay, so it's discovering. I mean, money is interesting because it's not the money you want, right? It's not the money you want. Money is useless. Like money is very useful, but it's useless if it's just sitting there in a bank account. You don't want a bank account of millions of dollars. Okay, unless we put it in circulation. That's when money really gets to be good, and we get to do so much good with it. Okay, I'm reading a book right now. We're going a little bit off topic, you guys, but let's go with it. You Too Can Be Prosperous by Robert Russell. And he talks about God loves a prosperous man. God loves a prosperous man. Change the word God to whatever you resonate with. Universe, spirit, source, creator. We're all talking about the same thing. Yes, exactly. So he teaches God loves a prosperous man. The basic premise of that is because prosperity, which is what happens after the money is spent, it is what is all around us. Even right now, we are all so prosperous, right? What happens when, we are prosperous, we are wealthy, is we can then, this God essence, this spiritual essence that is flowing to and through us can really flow to and through us because of the good that we can do in the world. Right? If we are in lack, limitation, poverty, look at my old situation. If I continue to exist there, what good am I doing in the world? I'm not doing any good in the world, but I chose to see things differently. I chose to expand my awareness. So I love this. So Kelty said, it's definitely the stuff and the travels and playtime and freedom I desire. Yes. So it's cultivating that feeling. It's that feeling that you desire. That feeling and all of these beautiful experiences that come from that feeling. And then it's becoming a vibrational match to that version of you. So today, when you go through your day, it's asking yourself, would Kelty, with all of these beautiful experiences, material objects, and freedom, would she be doing life this way? And see what happens, because like I said, it's like the silly thing I told you about, like moving the dishes to a different cupboard. It's like your standards change. Your standards change, your self-worth changes, and it's all so deeply connected to the way you see yourself, right? The way you see yourself, the way you move throughout your day, the thoughts, feelings, beliefs you have, and then the action you take. So beautiful. I love that. So you guys, that's where we are at the hour now. I really, truly hope that this helped you to kind of see a little bit past your current situation. Okay, so it doesn't matter what's happening right now. In your current 3D world, it's a manifestation of your past thoughts, beliefs, and actions. Okay, so what if we can become aware of something different? Do the journal prompts. And I encourage you to journal even more. Like, if all things are possible, open it up. That's going to be one of our questions, I think, for tomorrow, actually. But today, let's focus on our beliefs. Let's focus on our awareness and focus on, what do I believe to be true? You could even, Kelty, focus on, what do I believe to be true about money right now? Do I believe I can turn thin air into money? I believe that, but some people believe even behind that, there might be a sponsoring thought or a sponsoring belief. So we can say, I believe I can turn thin air into money. And then in the background, your subconscious is like, but how? Or like, oh, that's not possible. There's a sponsoring thought, and that is what matters. We cannot lie about our vibrational frequency. We cannot try to trick the universe into attracting different things to us. If there's a sponsoring thought, that's what we're getting at today, is these deep, deep beliefs, these like programs, these thoughts and things that we've been holding on to and existing from. That's what we're unpacking today, so that tomorrow we can really, truly begin to understand the mind a little bit more and then move it into the body. Okay. Yeah, people in my life just keep saying you should be happy with where you are. That lingers for sure. Stop telling them what you're up to. Stop telling them. Seriously though, if I was to say, I didn't tell anyone I was going to Costa Rica. No one, nobody knew. Okay. Because they would have said exactly that. Maybe not you should be happy with where you're at, because it wasn't exactly enjoyable, but they would say, but how? And I was like, I don't know. I just know it's happening. Okay. So keep your eyes open for an email. I'm going to send out the recording in case you want to watch the replay again. And then again, link to the homework's going to be in there. I'm going to also send out, I said today, but I might send it. Yeah, I'll send it out today. The link to book a call with me. Okay, so I'm doing some things a little bit differently this time. If you've ever been to a masterclass in the past, I didn't do this, but now I would love to connect with every single one of you on the live, on the recording. You registered for this, so as a perk for registering, little bonus, little gift from me, I want to help you. I want to talk to you one-on-one and talk about what you're working on, and see if I can support you in any way. Okay. Thank you guys so much for being on here live. It was so good to see you. I love seeing your little faces, and I'm so grateful that I get to deliver this information to you. So I hope this has expanded your kind of like awareness, kind of holy moly, there's so much more available to me. And then tomorrow we're going to draw it all in together. Okay. So have an amazing day, you guys. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.